Hello everyone and welcome back to Closets Gaming. Got some more news to talk about, and today we're gonna talk about Steam Store versus the Epic Store. So, Epic Store itself is something new and something I personally welcome in the PC gaming market. But there's an argument made by an ex-Valve developer who claims that the Epic Store is the savior of PC gaming. So let's actually take a look at this. So you can see we're here on Twitter, and it all started with a tweet by Tim Sweeney, who says, "I support everyone's right to complain about tech industry stuff. Epic Store with exclusive games and a Spartan feature set is a fine target for ire. But please help to separate facts and opinions from the lies about spyware and foreign control." So this is sort of a response to a bit of a controversy that appeared sometime last week when people essentially said the Epic Store is a piece of spyware because Epic is being partially owned by one of the largest gaming companies out there in the world, Tencent. If you do want to, I actually made a video about Tencent, so you can go watch that if you want my bigger opinion on Tencent. But Richard Geldrick, who is the ex-Valve developer, said, "Hanging there, Epic, you are doing great things for the video game industry." And there was a little bit of a chit-chat about whether the Epic Store is spyware, isn't spyware. I'm not really going to talk about that. I'm just going to give my quick opinion about it. I don't think the Epic Store is spyware. It is obviously going to be collecting data, because that's what pretty much any piece of software in your computer does nowadays. It collects data so it can be used. And I'm pretty sure there will be an easy way to make that go away, to just click "I don't want to send the data." So that's that. Plus the Steam Store obviously does that. But the real stuff starts here. If it wasn't for Epic, the entire industry would be still crunching away to support Valve's 30% rev share. Most of these profits went to a tiny handful of people who could care less about the industry or working conditions. Thank the gaming gods for Epic. And, well, it exploded here. Steam was killing PC gaming. It was a 30% tax on the entire industry. It was unsustainable. You have no idea how profitable Steam was for Valve. It was a virtual printing press. It distorted the entire company. Epic is fixing this for all gamers. And honestly, I have to agree with Mr. Geldrick here. Because whether you like it or not, Steam was the primary tool for gaming distribution for many years at this point. And the majority of the companies who weren't publishing AAA titles that would get sold in stores, that would also be sold on consoles, or that could actually support their own stores, like for example Blizzard, EA, Ubisoft, couldn't really go without Steam if they wanted to be successful. Yes, there were other platforms like Good Old Games that provided at least an option, but let's face it, the amount of people on GOG compared to the amount of people who are on Steam is not really comparable. It's so disproportionately bad that saying, "Oh, you could just live off GOG," if you're an indie developer, no, you can't. You really can't. You need Steam. And Epic could provide something that was sorely needed on the PC gaming side of things, and that is competition on the marketplace. So here I 100% agree with Mr. Richard Geldrick saying that, yeah, Epic is fixing this. But they're not fixing it with the ideal approach, I would say. So the complaint then became about exclusives and timed content that is exclusively available on a certain platform for some amount of time. At this point, add the Epic Store. And here, I actually have to disagree with him. But let's first hear a statement. It's another storefront. All of them have exclusives. Apple just announced Apple Arcade, which consists of exclusives, yet nobody says a thing. The funding from these exclusives goes to supporting the game devs that create the games you love, so they can make more games. By all means, if you want to support the PC status quo, Valve oppressing developers with its unsustainable 30% cut, by all means, stay with Steam. Valve became abusive to its developers because it thought the printing press would last forever. So, the thing is, exclusives don't help the PC market. And they don't really help support the developers. They don't help the developers other than the developers of the exclusives. And when you started, Richard, sorry if I'm going to be so blunt and talk with you directly in your first name, but Richard, when you said that the 30% is unsustainable, I will gladly 100% agree with you there. The problem is, exclusives only serve to separate the PC market. And yes, obviously you might say, but some separation is needed to create real competition on the market, otherwise it will just still be a monopoly by Steam. Yes, but there are other ways to provide services to the consumers. Exclusives take consumers hostage. It means that if you want to play a game, you are forced to use our platform. And that's not proper. For years, PC gamers were so happy to make fun out of console gamers for their exclusives that this is not correct behavior. Any game that is available on PC is available to any person. And yes, there was Steam, and you will pretty much forced to use Steam, but not as a user, as a developer. And with the fact that we're bringing exclusive deals to different stores, we're now taking consumers hostage instead of taking developers hostage. And I don't agree with either. I think developers should be free to choose which of the platforms they want to use. I'm not saying that all games have to be on Steam, and all games at the same time also have to be at the Epic Store. But Epic or Valve, by that means, going to a developer and securing a deal that they will not sell their games at any other platform is not good behavior from the developer side. And from the store side. Because it shows our store is not good enough by its own merits. We need to take and pay developers so that you will come to our platform, because otherwise you would be using something different. That's the real issue. The real issue comes in the fact that now consumers will be forced to use multiple stores. But what if I prefer the services of one over the other? What if I think Steam has a better refund policy? Or if I want to support the developers, I go to the Epic Store and buy the game there because they will get a bigger cut of the money. That's good behavior for the stores. That's something and a place where the consumers can actually decide, I want this from my store. It shouldn't be about the services provided. Not with digital software. I understand that it used to be a thing in the past where one store offered only this and one store offered only that. And if you wanted this, you had to go there. And if you wanted that, you had to go there. You really didn't have a choice because it was about physical space. But in terms of digital space, it's essentially infinite. Give the developers the choice to use whichever platform they want. If they want to use both platforms, good on them. If they only want to use Epic Store, that's their prerogative. And the same goes if they only want to go with Steam. Nobody should be forcing them to use one or the other. But right now, Epic is heading on a way that is forcing developers, or not forcing, is incentivizing developers by essentially bribery most of the time to use only their platform. And we need to stop that. And I don't know how to stop it. I think the only way we can stop it is just to complain as consumers to Epic that say, we do not want exclusives. We want developers to be able to make choices. If the developers of Red Dead Redemption will only want to go and sell in the Epic Store, good for them. But if they also want to tap into the gigantic market that is Steam, good on them as well. And that is only the true way to do this. We need to allow full competition so the stores are actually forced to take meaningful ideas on how to improve consumer and developer services so developers want to stick with their store. If Epic has the same potential user base as Steam Store one day, but it uses a 10% cut while Steam uses a 30% cut, where do you think the developers are going to go? They're going to go to Epic. Unless Steam offers them a better deal, or at least a similar deal. And the same goes for consumers. If Epic is going to provide me with an option to get a refund after 3 hours of playing, but Steam only offers me that refund up till 2 hours of playing, I might buy a big game on Epic. Because big games take a long time to test out before I know whether I like them or not. Or maybe Steam offers me great, insanely great customer support. When if my game isn't working, I go to them and they help me out. And there's a real person I can talk to and get to actually help me. Well, at Epic, they just send you, oh, we're sorry. Have you tried this online guide that we've published for one person that you already found a billion times and you searched for 20 minutes and 5 hours on top of that and you didn't get a solution? I may buy my games at Valve then. There are other ways than exclusives to make your product superior. And those ways are the things we need to search for, not exclusives. So I'm really hoping that we as consumers can show both Valve and Epic that exclusives are not the way to go. Tell them what would be some of the services you would love to have as a consumer that would make you stick with them. Or if you're a developer, give me some of the ideas that you would love to see. Whether it would be a bigger cut of money for you, which obviously I'm 100% sure all developers would prefer to have more money than less. Or would it be some kind of a service that allows you to check your games whether it's bug-free? Maybe some beta testing that would be done by the store. Maybe something on the lines of good reviewing like Steam has. That's a good service. Just whatever the ideas you have, be sure to tell me about them in the comments. And if you're a Twitter user, be sure to tweet them out at both Steam and Epic. They need to listen to this. They need to know that we as consumers do not want exclusives, that we want services, not products, to be used as bait for competition. So, yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider clicking the little red button that says subscribe on it. Maybe even click the bell if you want to hear more stuff that I have to say about the gaming world. If you liked the video, click like. If you disliked it, dislike it. But if you dislike it, be sure to also leave a comment telling me why you disliked it so I know how to improve. With that being said, see you guys later with more gaming content.